Hey guys, welcome back to Beard Aquatics with Andrew. Today we're going to be talking about how to install an aquarium heater. It might seem like a very simple topic to sort of understand, but there actually is some thought that has to go into where to place your heater, how to place it, settings of everything. So today I'm going to talk to you guys about how I set up my aquarium heaters and how I think the best practice is to setting up your aquarium heater. I've also included some of the heaters that I've used in the past down in the description. There are affiliate links to Amazon, so if you guys are in the market for looking a good heater, these are some of the heaters that I've used in the past that I've really enjoyed and I think are high quality heaters. So I'm just some guy on the internet, don't take my word necessarily for it, but if you guys are interested, check it out below. So you got a heater. What do you do with it now? Well, there are a couple things you have to take in consideration. First, you have to think about the size of your aquarium and the wattage. This is going to be a video about that, so you probably want to look into some other videos or some information about how to properly size a heater for an aquarium. But once you have that heater that you need, we're going to talk about how to actually install it. So with heaters, you want to make sure that you're keeping them in areas that have a high flow throughout the tank, whether it be in front of a power head, out of a filter output, or out of a underground filter outlet, something where there's a lot of flow. And the flow is important because it's going to keep all the water moving over that heater so that there's a uniform heating throughout the entire tank. If you don't have a heater in a place that has flow through it, it's just going to be a heater sitting by itself, and the water's going to be stagnant around it, and there isn't going to be any exchanging of the water throughout the entire tank, so you'll get colder spots on one side and warmer spots on the other side. So on some of the larger aquariums, you might want to think about having one or two heaters that equal that wattage that you want, rather than having just one central heater, so that way you can have a better distribution of heat throughout the tank. So one other thing you can think about once you've selected where to put it, be it underneath or around some outflow of water, you want to think about the angling of your heater. So the angling is important because if you just have a heater that's straight up and down like this, the heat's going to rise up the length of the heater and end up messing with the thermometer up here and giving a false reading to that thermometer, so that the heater water might be 80 degrees, which you set it at, but the rest of the tank is set at, say, or is actually like 70 degrees or 72 degrees because the heater is in stagnant water, or the heater isn't getting its heat distributed properly, so it's just sort of sitting around the heater. So that's why tilting it so that the heat rises up this way and then can get distributed and doesn't affect the thermometer probe that's up here, or having it entirely on its side so that the heat entirely rises above it and there's no chance for having the temperature being affected by the actual heater. That way you can keep a uniform temperature throughout the tank. Another consideration is that if you are putting a heater in a show tank, it might be a little unsightly to have a heater sitting like this or like this or like this. So you want to maybe think about putting other plants or other decorations in front of it so that it prevents you from seeing it, which can be slightly unsightly. So I would recommend that you figure out a way that best suits your tank setup and best suits even distribution of the heat throughout the entire tank. And when you're installing your heater, you want to make sure that you put it into the tank, let it acclimatize to that temperature in there so that when you turn it on, the heating element doesn't actually shatter the glass inside the aquarium, potentially, well, it would probably ruin your heater, but then also potentially killing off your fish because you're going to have an electrical current actually passing through the aquarium. So make sure when you're installing it, you put it in, let it sit for a bit. 10-15 minutes is probably good enough. Turn it on, and same thing goes for when you're unplugging it. If you're having to change a heater out or moving it around or doing a water change and you're dropping it below the heater, make sure that you unplug the heater so that the heater does not become exposed to the air and start heating, and because it can't heat all the air in your tank, it will then shatter as well. So I hope that makes sense. If you guys found this informative, make sure to like the video. Consider subscribing to the channel. It would be greatly appreciated. I hope you guys all have a blessed day. See you guys.